y'all, Natalie here for a cherry on top, and it is Technique Tuesday, and this month we are focused on metallics for our technique. So I'm using this flip book by Simple Stories to create a small album about a travel that we just did, and it's a 6x8 album, and I'm going to do this spread about us in a candy shop today. So I'm going to use 3 different ways of using metallics. So my first way is the Glimmer hot foil press, and I'm using foil sheets as well as some Glimmer foil sheets from Spellbinders, and I am using the Sweet Sentiment hot foil sentiment from Pink Fresh Studio, and I'm going to create my own 3x4 pocket card. So I choose a little piece of pattern paper and I cut it down to 3x4, and I'm making sure that the sentiment will fit on there 3 times. So I'm going to start with the middle so that I can kind of make sure it's centered, and I'm going to cut my foil pretty evenly around the sentiment, because you don't want a lot of excess foil because it will tend to make a mess. I guess it will get foil where you don't want foil. So I cut it to pretty precisely just the measurements that I need to fit the sentiment onto the page. So I'm using this copper color, and then I will cut a pink color as well as a turquoise color. So I just chose those colors because they were kind of like bright or like candy colors. Like this reminds me of a foil wrapper that would be around a candy. And that foil can be a little bit finicky, but using a cutter like that instead of scissors is usually the easiest way to cut some foil. Like a straight edge blade, an X-Acto knife, something like that. So I put the paper on the heated up pad, and then I put the foil first and the sentiment on top. And then I'm going to put my shims on top, and I'm going to run it through my Sizzix Big Shot. And I removed the foil, and there you have the sentiment. And so I'm going to do it in 2 other colors real quick. And that is our first way of adding metallics to this layout. That little magnetic grabber is just so satisfying to pick up those pieces. And there we have it. And I love how that turns out. I think it's really cute. It's really hard to photograph, so it's so hard on you can see it shining there and it's so pretty, but on the final photographs, it's really hard to get all of the metallics to shine properly. So the next thing we're gonna do is heat embossing with glitter powder. So I'm gonna use my embossing bag to get rid of any static. I'm gonna heat emboss on to this vellum. So I'm creating the word nom, like nom nom nom. And I'm doing that in some Versamark ink, and then there's like a sentiment that goes in that blank, and I did both of them in the glitter, and you can't read it well, so I actually end up redoing it. So I do the big letters only in the gold or silver glitter heat embossing, and then I put the sentiment in black, and that is much more legible, and I'm happy with how that looks. So when you are heat embossing on vellum, it is a good idea to heat from the back side, just because it's such a thin paper and it's finicky sometimes, and it might depend on what like heaviness that you have as well, but you can see it worked really well from the back side of the page, and I don't have to worry about like putting scorch marks on it. So now I'm going to use my Ranger archival ink to put the sentiment, and it stamps it well and it dries well and it does not smear. So that's going to go on top of that photo of all the sodas. And now the third way of adding metallics is by using metallic watercolors. So I'm adding water directly onto my paper. This is Vicki Boutin Foundations paper. And I'm using shimmer powder and Cherry Bomb, and I think I used Blue Blitz. And then I let them combine in the middle to create like a really beautiful purple color. And it's, again, really hard to see on camera, but in person, this is so shimmery and iridescent and beautiful. And after it dries, you will be able to see it on camera, on video here, but it is hard to photograph to get it to come through as metallic, but it does have this really great shimmer. If you have never played with these powders, I highly recommend them. They're very heavily pigmented. So what I'm going to do here is allow them to dry naturally. So I'm not going to roll them up. I'm not going to use my heat gun. I allow them to dry naturally, and they dry so vibrantly. A lot of times watercolors will dry a lot paler than what they're applied, but in this case, these types, just look how vibrant that is, and you can see the shimmer. So pretty. I highly recommend these if you're super into very vibrant color. They're by Nuvo for Ranger. So there's my 3 metallics. I ran that vellum through a die cut with a little die cut tag from Tim Holtz. Oh, look, I added 4 and I totally forgot. I added 4 pieces of metallic. Well, technically, I guess it's still glitter, but this memory box paper pad, it's a 6x6 paper pad, and it's all metallic glitter of all colors of the rainbow. I mean, if that doesn't scream my name, I don't know what does. But there's one silver metallic that's like an iridescent, like the glitter is rainbow. So I chose that, and I did that circle die cut, and then I did another one out of a rainbow paper just to kind of give me some layers behind my photo to add some interest to the 6x8 page, full size page. I'm going to anchor it on this Vicki Boutin 6x8 paper as well. And just the edges are going to peek out behind the white background. I just wanted additional color. We were in a candy shop and everything is bright and colorful and fun, so I definitely wanted that to come across in my page. I'm going to ink up the edges of this white background paper with some hot pink, just to kind of bring in the background to the foreground. I don't want it to look too stark up against that background paper. And I'm going to adhere it down and start sticking things down, and we're almost done. So make sure that you visit the links down below. All of these products are available at a cherry on top, and I hope you're inspired to use metallics in your scrapbooking. I love it. I love adding sparkle. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm just kind of creating my own journaling tag here. So I took this ledger stamp and I stamped in like the turquoise blue, which is one of the colors of foil that I use. And then I die cut it with the same tag that I used for the sentiment over on top of the photo. And then it has lines, so I'm going to use it to journal. Just a little blurb about what we were doing here. And I'm going to adhere that tag with my tiny attacher. If you don't have one of those, I highly recommend getting one of those. I have heard so many people say that is one of their like top 5 favorite tools that they ever use. And I use mine fairly often, especially on smaller albums like this. So I'm just adding a couple of puffy stickers onto my main page to just add some embellishment, and they're ice cream because we were in like a sweet shop. So yeah, it's a super fun way to just tie in the theme to the rest of my page. And I think that says it's a big day, because it was a big day for these boys in a candy shop. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you are inspired to use metallics on your page. Please let me know if you have any questions down below, and head over to a cherry on top and check out what they have in the store as far as metallics. So thank y'all for watching. Bye.